Thanks, fans. What's going on? Happy Saturday. You know who it is. It's your boy Ruben. And we're just going to dive into this one. This one's kind of gonna be short and sweet because there isn't what I would say a lot to talk about with regards to what happened last week in our loss to Kansas City and the bye week coming up. What I will say is I didn't think I didn't expect to come out with a win. This is the powerhouse that is the Kansas City Chiefs. When we play games like this, especially where we are in our rebuild, I just hope to look competitive. And I feel like there's a couple ways you could look at it. A lot of people would say, well, we only lost by 10, and we were kind of hanging around, which is what you can ask for a team this young, playing again a powerhouse team like the Kansas City Chiefs, who are perennially in the AFC Championship game or in the Super Bowl. I think that they have the league's best quarterback and have had them for quite some time, and the league's most intelligent offensive mind in Andy Reid. And all I could hope for was that they could keep it close. And I guess there's a couple ways you can look at it. They did hang around. So theoretically, you could say they kind of kept it close in that, we felt like there were opportunities that we could have seized that we just didn't. But the flip side to that could be is I feel like um, the fact that we lost by 10, you can kind of say it was a bit lucky as well because we did do some good things and we did get plenty of extra opportunities. So the fact that we only lost by 10 is a good thing because this could have easily been a blowout. We stole the opening kickoff, opening up with a surprise onside kick, which I was really surprised by, but pleasantly surprised because we did recover, but we did nothing with the ball. We were in the red zone multiple times, missed kicks. It was a frustrating day by what I love my Jags, but it was kind of what you would expect from a bad team. And I don't say that as though I don't have any hope in this Jaguars team, but this is kind of essentially year one of our rebuild. And I can't say we were a good team coming in. Unfortunately, it is what it is. We are a bad team, but we are a developing team. We made too many mistakes. We didn't capitalize on any of the extra possessions that we got. We didn't capitalize on red zone trips that we've gotten. And ultimately, I think we have some holes that everybody sees that are being exploited. First of which, I think I'm definitely on board with. I don't think the 3-4 is the defense for this particular defense. Now we'll see what pieces they add to it maybe next year and see where that goes. But as of right now, as presently constituted, I've never been a fan of the 3-4. Mentioned this multiple times because I feel like you need to have premium talent to run a 3-4, and even then, I've always felt it's a bit of a gimmicky defense because you're typically blitzing at a minimum 5 people, which means you're leaving a hole somewhere. And if you're playing these upper echelon teams, they'll tend to exploit it. I prefer a cover two, cover three scheme, as we were when we were Saxonville, as Tampa Bay was when they went to the Super Bowl. Now you do have your outliers. The Steelers have won with a 3-4 defense, but again, they had premium players, they had premium pass rushers, and I know a lot of people are harping on what's going on with Trayvon Walker, what's going on with Josh Allen, but they also have premium interior D linemen. And then on top of that, they covered just enough. They had guys like Troy Polamalu in the secondary. They once upon a time had a Rod Woodson in the secondary. They once upon a time had Carnell Lake in the secondary. They had premium players to cover up some of the holes. The idea behind the 3-4 is to create confusion. But in order to create confusion, you have to do some certain things well. You have to be able to two gap well, which means you need big D linemen to hold the point so that the rest of the defense can do what they do. It's really dependent on your linebackers and an element of surprise because you leave them guessing on where the fifth person is going to come from and whatnot, and whether you're playing a zone blitz scheme or if you're all out blitzing or if you're in some kind of man coverage. It does that. I'm not a gimmicky kind of guy. I'm kind of a lineup. Let's shrink the field, make you play. Make you have to make tight throws kind of guy. I've always been partial to those kind of defenses, and as of right now, I just don't think we have the horses to run this. We signed Foye Aluakin, who's our middle linebacker. He's on the smaller side. He's very fast. But as far as I can see, he's not the greatest in coverage, but I'm not sure it's his fault because Devin Lloyd is making a lot of the same mistakes Oluokun is making. The reason I'm not sure it's his fault is because there are certain there's your basic 3-4 defense where it's your three linemen and you have your outside pass rushers and your middle linebackers kind of just play man zone in the middle of the field, right? And then you have an attacking 3-4 where you're constantly sending guys, they're constantly stunning and things like that. That's what Tampa Bay sort of runs, but they have Lavonte David, special athlete, and what is the guy's name? Number 45, Devin. Devin White. I almost called him Devin Bush. Devin White, special athlete. These guys are really good at both coverage and blitzing. The guys we have are not them. And to cap it off, we don't have the coverage in the secondary to supplement the kind of aggression that they're trying to send. So what happened is you basically saw what happens when you have a hole at safety, which while we like Rayshawn Jenkins as a hitter, he's not a great coverage guy. The other corner, whoever it is outside of Tyson Campbell, is not a great coverage guy. So you have an entire half of the field that can be had, especially if you're not getting pressure on the quarterback. And it shows its head every time we're playing. For instance, Pat Mahomes, over 300 yards. I believe he threw for 4 touchdowns. What do you guys think of that? Because I expected no less. So the positives, Trevor Lawrence is starting to look like he's finding a bit of a groove, which means he's taking into the scheme. They're showing him things. They're helping him read things quicker. It looks like they've simplified some things for him and are actually telling him where holes are going to be, where hot reads are going to be. I kind of still think he needs to work more on the hot reads. Tony Romo was on the broadcast where a couple times it felt like he was forcing things downfield and instead not realizing the simple check down that might have got them 5, 6, 7 yards that was right in front of him. These are young quarterback mistakes, not a problem, but all I can ask is for improvement. Now, I don't want to be that guy, but Kansas City doesn't have the greatest defense. The last couple games, he's looked great, but he didn't play great defense. But I don't want to poo-poo those performances because if I expect a good quarterback to take advantage of those matchups, and that's what he's been doing. So that's step one on the checklist. The next thing we need to see is him actually perform like this against good defenses. Baltimore hasn't been the greatest defense, but they're aggressive. They can confuse a quarterback. This will be a really good test for them coming up after the bye next week on the 27th, and it'll be a home game. So we'll see if we can pull out a surprise there. But man, this defense having to try to keep up with Lamar Jackson, I'm really worried about that, especially with the kind of time he's going to be able to provide scrambling around. Somebody's going to come open. We really got to do something in the secondary to help out Tyson Campbell. Andre Cisco was pretty much the big bright spot. And I guess it depends on who you are. If you're a Jag fan, you loved what you saw from Andre Cisco. I will say, by letter of the law, that first hit on Juju Smith-Schuster was probably defenseless receiver. You can even make maybe an argument for the second one. But I'm not a guy that likes the letter of the law. I've never been a fan. If you're a Jag fan, you remember Donovan Darius, and a lot of people were harping on this. I think if you play football, it's a thing called making business decisions. If you're man enough to go up and get that ball, and you know a safety's lurking, then know that your head can get knocked in. So, every man that signed up for the NFL knows that this can happen. That's why you see some guys crocodile arm some passes. They made a business decision. You'll see some corners seeing a running back coming full speed, and they'll either go low or kind of olay the guy. It's a business decision. Now, I prefer the guys that are about their business and are going to make the hard play or whatever. But that's life. That's the soap opera that is the NFL. I was happy to see that they picked up the flag on that one and that they are allowing them to play, especially us. Like we don't take every positive thing that we have from us. Cisco, I was expecting more picks this year. I believe he's leading the team in picks, but I need to see more of that. He was flying around, lurking. He was recognizing plays. Hopefully, it'll turn into more turnovers, and that's something that can feed this team. We need to be better defensively. The better we are defensively, the more it's going to help our offense. And we also need to be able to run the ball more efficiently. I'm not in love with the way we run the ball. I know Travis Etienne was having a hot couple of weeks, but it's becoming predictable. We don't line up. We can't get the hard yard when we need them a lot. So those are just my thoughts. I know I said I was going to make this short, but it's still roughly about 11, 12-minute video. So I appreciate y'all. Remember to like, subscribe. And if you want to hear more, definitely comment your opinions. And I'd be more than happy to talk to you guys about what you guys are thinking, how are you feeling about the direction of the team and everything. All right. So hit your boy up in the comments. I'll be looking out for you. Peace out.